This is what I looked like a few years ago, and this is what I look like today. You want to know how I went from this to this? I ran 2 marathons. I spent 5 hours in the gym every day. I fasted for weeks. I meditated for another 10 hours a day. And everything I just shared with you is complete bullcrap. Too often, we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. We put pressure on ourselves to make some earth shattering improvement that everyone will talk about for ages to come. Maybe to run 200 miles, or to lift 200 kgs, or to work 200 hours. Let's make it 20, right? Or to work 20 hours a day. We think that the only way to ever succeed is to go absolutely all out. Success in our minds is associated with someone experiencing a life-changing moment after which they were never the same again. The theme is always something along the lines of someone who used to spend 12 hours a day playing video games, undergoing a transformative experience, and then just starting to spend 12 hours a day working on a business of his own. So naturally, we start waiting for that transformative experience ourselves. But it never comes. Why do we wait for an external sign, an external circumstance to make a change within ourselves? Because the change is so scary. The change requires too big a sacrifice. It requires us to change the entire essence of our beings, to completely shed who we are at our cores and to become fucking machines. We're scared of that, and we procrastinate on it. And what better way to procrastinate than to wait for an experience, for an event big enough, life-changing enough to automatically make that change within us. In a very real way, whether consciously or subconsciously. Aren't we all waiting for that event to happen? Are you happy with how you're living your life today? Would you be comfortable living the way you currently are 10, 20 years from now? Would you be comfortable with your 20-year-older self? So if you're 20, would you be comfortable with your 40-year-old self living his life the way you are today? Absolutely not. All right? So what are you waiting for then? Whether you realize it or not, you're waiting for that event to happen to change things for you. You're waiting for that external thing to happen to make that change within you so that you start living your life the way you want to. Allow me to break your bubble. I apologize in advance. I feel terrible for doing this. I do. But I say better today than 20 years later when there will be nothing you'll be able to do about it anymore. So here goes. There will never be an event big enough to warrant that change within you. And more importantly, you don't need that change. In fact, you need to not undergo that change because it's impossible, not unlikely, it's impossible to sustain that in the long term. There's a good chance you've experienced this already. Maybe you got a very bad grade, maybe you even failed a subject, and you vowed to completely quit social media and spend all of your time studying instead. Maybe you looked at yourself in the mirror one day and realized that you'd put on quite a bit of weight, and you promised yourself that you would stop eating chips and ice cream every day. How did that turn out for you? How long did you keep that promise for? Massive success does not come from massive action. I'll repeat that for you. Massive success does not come from massive action. Simply because massive action is not sustainable. The before and after pictures that I shared with you earlier, I did think to try and run marathons. I did try to spend 5 hours in the gym every day. I did intend to fast for weeks on end. But I didn't lose any of the weight that I lost or gain any of the muscle that I gained, that I have during any of those times. The one time I finally made a change and was able to make it stick. I made one small change. I set one small goal for myself. I said, my aim, my goal, my promise is to enter the gym every single day. I don't need to have the greatest workout ever. I don't need to set PRs. I don't need to run miles. I don't need to be in the gym for hours on an end. I just need to show up. That was the one decision that I made that got me this body today. The journey has actually been quite uneventful, nothing even remotely close to what you would expect. Yes, a few times come to mind when I was in no mood to go to the gym, when the external circumstances were aligned against me, when I should have just said fuck it, but I went anyway. And yes, I feel an immense sense of pride and gratitude when I think back to those times. But that's about it. It's mostly been an uneventful, almost boring journey of just getting myself to show up day after day after day. It's almost been a simple journey in the sense that there wasn't anything special, anything unique that I had to do. I mean, we've all had those one days, we've all experienced that one day when we went to the gym and had an amazing workout. All I did was replicate it again and again and again. All I did was push myself through that initial bit of discomfort when I wasn't feeling like going to the gym sometimes and I had to push myself to go anyways. That's all that it's been, and that's all that you have to do as well. To summarize, let's say you're fat or you're broke. Actually, let's not even go to that extent. Let's say you're decently well built, you're decently well to do, but you're not quite where you want to be. And you're not doing much about it either. So you're not as muscular and lean as you want to be, but you still don't have your diet under control. You're not as rich as you want to be, but you still spend multiple hours a day scrolling through Instagram or YouTube instead of working on a skill or on a business. If I told you 10 years from now, you will still have the same amount of muscle as you do today, that you'll still have the same amount of money in your bank as you do today, it would sting you. It would hurt you. So you're not changing in the present, but you do want things to be different in the future. One of the reasons for that is that you believe that to get more muscular, you will have to completely turn your life around and eat exclusively healthy and be at the gym all day and do hours of cardio. You believe that to get rich, you will have to give up all of your hobbies and your interests. You'll have to compromise on your health and well-being and just work from morning to night. And because you've convinced yourself that change needs to be so massive, you keep putting it off. You keep waiting to feel like making that big a change. But the fact of the matter is, you don't need to completely turn your life around. You just need one small decision. Whatever it is that you want out of your life, start spending a little bit of time every day working towards it. Want to get better at a skill? Practice it. Want to build a business? Spend a couple of hours a day working on it. Want to become more knowledgeable? Read for 30 minutes a day. Want to build your dream body? Just enter the gym every day. It's as simple as that. So make that small little change and make your dreams a reality one day at a time. I will see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, I have a second channel out now. So first link in the description, check it out, drop it a subscribe. I have a couple of videos out on it, maybe check them out. So it's more of an unfiltered vibe, more of a sort of a channel where I just turn on the camera, speak my mind on whatever it is that I want to talk about. The idea for it came about because of my mentor, through my mentorship students, which by the way, I also do mentorship. So second link in the description, check that out as well. Quite often I would have my students share with me that something that I told them maybe right then, maybe a few days ago, they tell me that, okay, this completely changed my life. I had never heard of this before. I'd never even thought of this before. So thank you for sharing this. How do you not have a video out on this? And usually the answer is that it is somewhere in the pipelines, but because there's over 100 videos that I'm working on simultaneously through in different stages of production, right? So the answer usually is that it's somewhere in there in the pipeline. And the problem with that is that, for example, if I made a mistake today, right? I fuck up, I'll get a learning, I'll get an insight from it. The best time to talk about it would be today, instead of just putting it into the pipeline and then getting to it maybe a month later. That is the purpose of the second channel. Do check it out. Check out the videos that I have out on it. And if you like the main channel, I'm sure you'll vibe with the second one as well. With that said, go drop it a subscribe, maybe a like, and I'll see you in the next one.